Hey there, and welcome back to Resetting the Standard. This is a space where we challenge the modern narratives and where women can learn to love their men the way they deserve to be loved. A space us women can learn that our feminine energy in a relationship can make both of you stronger. Something I often see, and I talk about it all the time if you know me in person, is how often good men consistently have to prove themselves to love harder, to give more, to buy you more things, but we never talk about what those good men deserve in return. Real quick, before I get too far into this, I want to thank today's sponsor, the Patriot Box. And speaking of feminine energy, something that men rarely pay attention to is the ingredients in our everyday products. From cleaning, but also their deodorant, their body wash, body bars, whatever. And that's why I love the Box. It's exactly that. All of my everyday essentials with good ingredients made here in the USA. I love supporting a company that still believes values like hard work, quality, and protecting the people we love. Sean and I switched about 6 years ago, and it's the best decision we have ever made for our home. If you've been looking for a way to shop smarter, support American made, and take better care of your family, check out the campsite link in my bio and fill out the request for information form. And I look forward to chatting with you. So, today, I want to talk about something that culture loves to twist and turn and make seem crazy: love, respect, and everybody's favorite word, submission. Like I said, we talk so much about what women deserve: love, respect, whatever, but we don't talk about what the men deserve. And I think good men get lost in the conversation. I said it in episode 2. This culture, women think we deserve everything just because we're women. But since when does any relationship work that way? Do you treat your best friend that way? Why don't the men in our lives who we supposedly love deserve the same treatment? After all, they are here with us when we're happy, sad, mad, hormonal, and everything in between. So if they're willing to stand by us through all of that, why doesn't he deserve to be treated kindly in return? Just like your best friend. If he's out working, protecting, providing, and supporting our dreams and our families, he deserves peace at home, a place where he can come home and feel loved, not come home to a bitchy woman who has no gratitude for everything he does. Why would anybody want to come home to that? It doesn't even make any sense. Eventually, he's going to want to just not come home, or come home and he's not going to be happy. A good man deserves to be greeted at the door, and as 50s wife as that sounds, it's absolutely true, and that doesn't mean greet him with a whiskey on the rocks right at the front door. All that means is that he deserves to come home to a happy, especially for the men who are working more hours than us, physically, mentally harder than us. Even as a stay-at-home mom, yes, you have to put up with the kids all day, but is it that you have to put up with them, or that you get to put up with them all day? So many moms in this world beg for the opportunity to be able to stay home with their kiddos every day. Instead, you could be out working a job that you hate and watching somebody else raise your kids, or you could be there and you could be grateful that your husband is giving you the opportunity to do so. Honestly, it's even something I'm striving to be, is a stay-at-home wife. Respect isn't earned just once. It's something we have to earn every single day. On both sides, of course, but again, this podcast is about the women's perspective. Let's talk about that faithful word that nobody likes: submission. It makes so many people flinch, like it means obedience or control. That's not what that word means. The word does not mean his law, his what he says goes. The word means you trust him. The word means you're ready to fight with him, not against him. Whether you take it as a biblical word or otherwise, it's not a bad word. It's how you're taking it. Yes, your husband could say things nicer or do something in a different way, but it's not his responsibility to be in charge of your emotions. If you take something wrong, I guarantee you 90% of the things that we take wrong, it's because it hurts us for our own reasons, not because he meant it that way. Your husband, if he is a good man, he cherishes you. He loves you. Nobody's perfect. None of us are. We can't expect him to be. There's nothing wrong with letting a man just be a good man. But when you start putting in the work, it's absolutely worth it. And if for whatever reason you guys have just grown apart lately, I promise you, if you sit down and have a conversation and start talking these things out, not only will he appreciate it, but it will bring you guys so much closer. And I promise this isn't me like talking down at you like I'm some awesome person and I do everything right. I fall short on this constantly, but I work on it also constantly. If I catch myself being a bitch for no reason, or being irrational for whatever reason, whether it be my own feelings or something else, I try to take a deep breath, either walk away from the situation, apologize, try and reaccumulate myself, and figure out how we can work on this, whatever problem it is, together instead of fighting about it. Being his encourager, his feminine energy, also means saying you're sorry and being vulnerable and knowing when you were right. When I just let Sean be the husband that I love, the person that I fell in love with, it's not him, it doesn't make me feel any smaller. It makes our relationship so much stronger. Submission is not silence, it's confidence in your partner's leadership, love, and respect. You must both respect each other. Something Sean articulated so well in episode 1 was that in this day and age, nobody knows their rules anymore. There's no defiant rules. And I don't mean old-fashioned gender rules like she cooks and he works, right? I mean understanding how each other work best together. How you guys work best together. Yeah. It's not even something that's talked about or taught anymore. We've gone so far from any kind of structure in a relationship that everybody forgot that there are things as people, not as women and men, although we do have our differences and our strengths. In a relationship, teamwork works so much better. Everyone trying to do everything, and it just ends up a chaotic mess and no balance. Sit down, talk it out, figure out what best fits your relationship. And you can keep redefining it until you find that rhythm and what works best for you. When your roles aren't clear, resentment just starts to build in the relationship, and someone is always feeling like they're doing more, or they're not getting enough appreciation, or they're giving too much, or they're not getting enough. You get the point. Healthy relationship needs definition, not domination. You just need to know what your roles look like as a couple. Maybe it looks like Sean and I. We both work full-time jobs, so I cook, he does the dishes. I sweep and mop, he takes out the trash. He does the dog poop, I do the laundry, so on and so forth. He's going to argue about the laundry thing because we kind of tag team laundry. Mostly, I at least start the laundry. It doesn't really matter what those roles are and who does what, as long as it's defined and you guys have an understanding between the two of you. I do have to say that I have found that a great side effect of me just trying to be a better wife on my end, my husband can also be vulnerable with me. A man should always have a space where he can be vulnerable, although none of them will ever admit it in public, and that's fine. In the world they are masculine, in their home, they should be able to talk to you, to complain to you, to tell you what's wrong or bitch about work, whatever. They should be feel safe in that space with you. Not with anybody else, but with you. I mean, they can have a friend or something, of course, but especially with you. When he starts to be able to feel vulnerable and loved at home, he can also start sharing more and acting more on those feelings. But in that same sentence, you also have to remember that a man showing love is completely different than the way you receive love. Every man loves you for you. He does not love your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your hair color, your haircut, or even the dress you bought the other day. They don't think that way, and they're probably never going to. They're too simple for those things. But one thing that I tell women all the time, if you need something from your husband, I think I talked about it in the podcast with Leilani. If you need something from him, just fucking ask. If you have had a shitty day, ask for a hug. When I think I have a really cute hairstyle, I look at Sean and I say, "Hey, my hair's really cute today, isn't it?" Like, communicate with him what you need, whether it be something as big as feelings and you need somebody to sit and be vulnerable with, or you just need a hug, or whatever. I mean, I've even had moments where I'm cooking dinner and I'm overwhelmed with too many things in my head, and Sean's trying to be cutesy, and I have to take a breath and very nicely and calmly tell him, "Hey, look, I'm really overwhelmed. I just need you to walk away for a minute and let me get caught up, and then I can come love on you for the rest of the evening." Just communicate with him. He is not gonna read your mind. He can't. You can't read his, and he can't read yours. And when you keep trying and, like, pretending like that's gonna work, it's just exhausting and nobody gets anywhere and then everybody's angry. So just say, "Hey, babe, I need a fucking hug. I don't feel good." It's that simple. So I wanna transition a little bit on something I saw this week, and I made a little comment about it on TikTok, but have you seen Taylor Swift's new album or heard Taylor Swift's new album? it is sparking emotions all over the freaking place. All these people who were shouting Queen Energy and we're so happy for her and we're buying Travis Kelce jerseys, but with Taylor Swift's name on them, are now pissed off at her because she wants to start a family and get married. Well, get married and start a family. I think it just shows how deeply our society is programmed to believe that women wanting love, a husband, motherhood means that they are giving up some kind of power. The second a woman chooses stability or over chaos, people act like she's losing herself. And that's absolutely not the case. The truth is, a good man can elevate you just like you can elevate a good man. He doesn't take our power, he amplifies it. And when a good man leads with love, your feminine energy flourishes. I think we need to remember too that true strength isn't about proving you don't need a man. It's about being secure enough to choose a good man. So basically, when I say a good man deserves love, respect, and submission, I mean exactly that. He deserves your trust because he's earned it. If you have already fallen for him, he obviously did something to make you love him. And you deserve the peace that comes from letting him be him. I was having some conversations on social media the other day, and this came up, and I think it fits here perfectly. Talking about how women are oppressed in 2025. I know everybody has their opinion, but this is my podcast, so it's my opinion. My opinion in 2025, absolutely not. I don't really think we ever really were oppressed necessarily, but in 2025, women are not oppressed. We have broken glass ceilings for decades. And honestly, if you look back on history, long before feminism, we were breaking ceilings. What women were. Queen Elizabeth, she was one of the most successful rulers in history. She defended England without burying a man, secured her position without a man. Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern day nursing, she transformed battlefield medicine during the Crimean War. If you want to look at a biblical example, Deborah, she was a prophet and a judge of Israel, meaning that she led an entire nation, not only spiritually, but also politically. She commanded armies, gave counsel to the men, and still led with grace and faith. Our feminine energy, when used properly, can be a strength, not a weakness. You are going to hear me say that as long as you watch this podcast. But when it comes to 2025, though we all think our own way, if women were truly oppressed, we wouldn't have women running businesses as CEOs, in high positions of government, in leadership, and doing literally anything we want to do at this day and age. A lot of reasons I feel like we call it oppression is imposter syndrome or insecurity in ourselves because we've been made to believe that women are looked down upon just because we're women. That's absolutely not true. A good man, especially, knows that a woman can have our own power, but our power is saved for particular moments, particular seasons that we need it. But when you realize that men and women together can make something so powerful, it's freaking unbreakable. So the next time you find yourself in a position where you feel like somebody's putting you down just because you're a woman, I want you to ask yourself, am I being held back? Am I being put down upon because I'm a woman? Or am I looking at this the wrong way? Are my emotions getting in the way of what I know I can do? If you want to go out there and be a boss babe, have at it. But don't blame the world when you can't make it happen. So, this week's challenge is I want you to talk to your man. Start finding ways that you can respect him a little bit more. Maybe sit down with him and ask him how you can serve him better as his wife. And for God's sakes, if you need something from him this week, just fucking ask him. Quit beating around the bush, quit pretending like he can read your mind. He cannot know. And with that being said, that is all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me on Resetting the Standard. My hope is that every episode reminds you that healthy love still exists, that good men still exist, and they're worth your love, and that respect, trust, and teamwork are truly make a strong relationship. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like this episode. If you know somebody who might benefit or maybe just agree with the episode, shoot it their way. Please leave a comment below whether you agree, disagree. How do you feel this has helped your relationship if you've inputted any of it? I'm here for you every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Arizona time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget, all of my links are in the campsite below. everything you need to know about me or where to find me is in that campsite link, including my Facebook group. It's a community where we get to talk a little bit behind the scenes and go over this week's episode, maybe talk about things in between. I hope that eventually it will create a community where we can have conversations about maybe things we are struggling with or anything to that degree. And of course, if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, I would love to tell your story and talk with you. There is also a jot form in my campsite link where you can send me your information and we can chat. I don't quite have next week's figured out yet. It might be a guest if I can get my girlfriend Mariah pinned down this week. But I do also have a really fun episode planned on a funky, interesting outtake on Disney movies. I was a Disney obsessed freak as a child, and I've looked at it a lot differently as an adult in a couple different ways. Anyway, remember to love him like a king, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.